Okay, legends, what is crack-a-lackin'? Happy New Year, how's it going? Let's dive straight into this video, guys. The 30,000 view, the big yearly take of what happened in 2022, guys. I'm going to go through the Bitcoin charts and just give you my overall general long-term perspective narrative coming down on this from a higher time frame perspective, looking at Bitcoin, starting with the yearly charts, okay? And talk about what I think should happen in 2023, talk about what happened in 2022. We'll go through all the, the normal charts we go through, guys. We'll go through everything on this video. And also I'll explain this tweet, because I did say on this tweet, guys, what do these yellow lines represent? And I'm going to tell you what these yellow lines represent right now. And it's very, very simple. I'm going to go from the very higher time frames, the yearly, and we're going to go all the way down to the very, very micro 5 minute all the way down, okay? And I'm going to show you how I kind of analyze these markets, look at them, and give you some tips and tricks how to look at them for you in 2023 if you don't already know. So, guys, these yellow frickin' lines, very simple charting here, guys. These yellow lines, they represent the yearly top and bottom of the last 5 candles, the last 6 years. Now we have the new open this year. All these yellow lines, guys, are representing is where did the market stop on the yearly candles. And if I click this button here, guys, you'll see that come up on the screen. Very, very simple, guys. So in this tweet, actually, nobody managed to get this, okay? And you can see very, very nicely and very, very clearly, if you flick down to the monthly, so it's a chart you can kind of understand, you can see that these yearly levels, guys, have come up to be very, very significant because they are the yearly support and resistance. It's the yearly candles, legends. So when you go down the time frames, you're going to find a lot of the time that these levels are very, very significant in the market. So you have obviously the 14K high, the very COVID lows. You have this very crucial point here, guys, where you have 2 yearlies open and closing on the same price level. You have the yearly close we just got literally yesterday, and then the yearly high as well, guys. So it's very, very interesting to see where those correlate. Now, if you go out to the 12 month, and you actually look at this again and you say, okay, well, these are the tops and bottoms. These are the biggest points of resistance and support. This is where the year stopped. That's the highest we ever got to on Bitcoin for 69K. And guys, we have the low here of COVID. So then what you can do, guys, you can say, okay, well, you've got these levels where the market's stopping. Then you can go down to the next level, okay? And you can say, what was the open and close of that year? Because obviously, it went to 69K. That could have been at any point within that yearly time frame. Then what you want to do, guys, is get another tool here and draw some rays on. And this is what I always do. You can see on my charts for years, you guys have been watching me, drawing on my levels. I'm literally just showing you what you do when you get the significant levels on your chart. What you do, guys, you can see here, okay, let me go from the beginning if you don't understand. These candles are representing where the year opened, where it went to, and where it closed, okay? So on this one here, guys, you can see we have the close and the open, obviously on the same price. Draw a blue line. That's actually quite simple. It just correlates with the lows again. Don't really need to go that far back anyway. We'll make this more relevant for this price action. Then, guys, you can see here we have the close and the open, where the candle stops and the new candle opens. It's on the yearly. So, guys, draw a nice little blue ray across that. You can do a ray or you can do a horizontal, whatever you want. I'll just make it so you can just differentiate from the two. Guys, again, this is very, very cool, isn't it? You can see that the stop, the close, and the open, bang on a nice blue line. Here we literally go. And, guys, obviously we had the most recent ones. We had the last year, then this year closing. Bang it on there. That was actually the start of 2022. Been a pretty nice downwards year, hasn't it, leggies? 2022 has been great for the bulls. And I actually say that, being completely honest, it is great for the bulls because it means you can buy the price lower. Price going down is just as good as it going up if you are looking to get into this. And then, guys, you have this level here. Then, guys, if you zip out to the monthly, you can see that this becomes very, very clear where these levels are coming in at. And you can see that these yearly levels are expressing very clearly on the chart, guys, where the significant SR is of this market. You can see here, guys, open and close was here 2 yearlies. You can see on this chart very clearly, guys, that for the bulls, $30,000, guys, we're looking at about 28 to 30K. This region here is going to be very, very significant for the itty bitty bad boy. Guys, again, looking at about 45K here. I think actually a little bit higher than that if I can read my own numbers. 47,000, very, very crucial. Obviously, the high price, guys, when we actually get above eventually at some point in the future, when we actually break above this high price, it's actually going to be a blue sky breakout again for Bitcoin at some point. And blue sky breakouts are very, very powerful because it's difficult to, in general, predict the velocity of a move. The direction is a lot easier than the velocity. So when you have a blue sky breakout, there's no resistance. So things can get pretty crazy. And then, guys, we have obviously the 14K top here, where we had the bear market rally to 14K and the COVID lows. So all these levels, I just wanted to do that for you at the beginning of this video, guys, because a lot of people ask me how I get my levels. It's pretty darn simple, guys. You look at the top and bottom of a year or a month. The higher the time frame, the more significant. And then you go down to where did the actual candles close? Where do they open and close? And then what you're getting is yearly opens, yearly closes, then down to monthlies. You can see we're on monthlies right now, 12 months in 1 year. So you're going to get more data aggregated into that one candle. So you can then go down and down and down and down. It's like Russian dolls. The dolls just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Similar patterns, different size. Okay, so it's very, very simple. But I just wanted to go through that because I get this question a million times. And in this video, I am just going to go through just the general gist of Bitcoin this year. And then we're going to go into what I think is going to happen in the next coming years or next year, 23 and 24. Okay, and we'll look at the other statistic data, whatever. You know, looking at between everything you see on the screen, what you're really getting now is the market or the price action, how it's been printed, is showing you where the ranges are. So where are the next ranges on the monthly? We're on higher time frames right now. And you can see, guys, between 14 and 3.7, that is a range-bound environment down there. That's the yearly high and the yearly low. So I'm back, legends. My microphone just completely cut out, so I'll probably just cut that in. Hello, I'm back, legends. Where was I? The ranges I was talking about. So what I was saying, guys, was on this chart. Sorry about that little mess up. So guys, these are what the market's doing really when you're looking at these price levels. Okay, where you're drawing on the yearlies. And you're drawing on those yearly open and closes with the yearly highs and the lows. Well, what it's actually really showing to you on the chart is where the ranges of the year are. So where are the ranges happening? And we can see here very clearly between 14 and 3.7, you have the lower side of the market range. You also have a very nice express range between 14 and 30. And this is the range we're in right now. You can see we've come all the way down. We've broken 30,000. We actually found support on 30K multiple times, guys, over the year or two. You can see, guys, we have a range-bound environment in here which you can play out. Then you have like the mid-range, I would call it, between 30 and 47 coming up in here. And then, guys, we have actually the higher side range where we fannied around for a good few months as well, the top side range. And this is really, really, really good for your narrative. I'm looking at the wrong camera. This is really good for a general narrative of how you're going to trade the market and buy levels, because what you want to do is you don't really want to be playing the middle of a range. It's just too difficult to make money. There's no real conviction on the chart giving you a good entry. So what you really want to do, you really want to be playing your levels in a way where either you want to be selling or buying the correct SR on the right level. So selling as resistance or buying it as support, either or of the range. So here's a good example: buying the lower side of the range as support, selling as resistance, again, vice versa, carry on. So what you can see, guys, is it's spelling out the ranges, and at the moment, guys, we are in this range right now. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen now, coming weeks, and into 2023. I literally just spoke about this for 10 minutes, but the microphone went dead. But I'm just going to cut through and tell you what I think, and go down to another lower time frame, go down to the weekly. We can actually draw some more levels on now as well, because obviously weekly levels are very significant in Bitcoin. But I'm going to make it really simple, guys, and just tell you what's happening right now for me. And let's be simple, guys, here. Bitcoin is not... There's nothing on this chart right now which is making me believe that Bitcoin has bottomed. There is nothing on the chart which is expressing to me or giving me conviction that, yes, the bottom is in, it's time to start buying and getting your high leverage log positions in. No. There's nothing on this chart, guys. And what you need to do now is you need to understand what you define as a bear market or a bull market. And then you can make this really simple, because a lot of guys are like, no, we're in a bull market, no, we're in a bear market. It's like, just define it yourself, and I'll give you what I believe. And you guys can come to your own conclusion. For a market to be in a bull market, generally speaking, the price action has to be above certain moving averages. A lot of people use a 200-day moving average in crypto, okay? So say you use a 200-day moving average. Right now, this line here generally kind of expresses that. It's not the 200-day, but it's similar. We're below moving averages. Also, guys, what you ought to be looking for is structure. Higher highs, higher lows. In a bull market, you want to see the highs getting higher, the lows getting higher. So like this, you have the price stops, hits resistance, comes down, makes a higher low, breaks the previous high, continues Z trend. Legends, uptrend. That's what we want to see. You want to see the market creating high highs, higher lows on higher time frames. And then, guys, very significant part of it as well, what I look at is volume. Not volume on the hourly, the 4 hour, the 1 minute. not lower time frame volume. What you'll be looking for is higher time frame volume on Bitcoin, especially the weekly, monthly, or higher. And you want to see increasing volume. Buy volume if you're in a bull market, sell volume if you're in a bear market. And I won't go into oscillators, I won't go into indicators, I'm going to stick strictly with price action. But the way I get that information and I can see that where I get that, where the source is for me is from MDX Algo. So I use mdxalgo.com, I use the MDX Oscillator 5, and that actually gives me that information, that data to tell me or show me when the volume's increasing on higher time frames. And guys, you know what to do. MDX Algo is where I get my long to short ratio. You can just basically get the product and you can use that on your TradingView charts. So legends, when I use that criteria to define a bull market, you can clearly see that Bitcoin is not in a bull market. Whatever crypto Twitter wants to tell you, when Bitcoin goes up 2% in a day, it's not in a bull market in what I look like, and you can define what you think a bull market is. Bitcoin's not in a bull market. I don't see even a bottom. I actually see potentially a buying opportunity for a short to medium term bounce trade coming up, guys, at $14,000. Now, let me zip down another time frame, guys. We'll go to the daily, and these time frames are probably a little bit more familiar to the crypto trader because obviously crypto is so volatile. You get a lot more people trading lower time frames because you don't need to wait on higher time frames to get big moves. You can get big moves on lower time frames. That's why Bitcoin is so lower time frame centric. It's because the moves on the lower time frames are so lucrative. The only reason people are looking at bond market charts on the freaking 10-year or looking at 1-year charts on S&P is because that's where the big moves come, is over a year time frame. You don't have that in crypto. But guys, okay, let me just, I'm going to do this really simple. I'm going to tell you what I think's happen on the short term, and then I'm going to tell you what I think's happen in 2023. I think what the market environment is going to be, really simple, loud and clear. So on the short term, guys, like I said, we're still making lower highs, we're making lower lows, nothing's changed. There's no difference in behavior here. The market's just continuing to fall and fall and fall and fall and continuing. Go with the trend. We all know the saying, guys, you go with the trend because, if you're going with the trend, you're going to get a win, 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 and then one loss at the end, okay? If you're trying to go against the trend the whole way, you're just going to get a loss, a loss, a loss, a loss, and then one win at the end. We know that there might be a strategy which you use, which is trying to time the bottom. If you can hold, if you can be resilient and you can be disciplined to pull that off, then play that strategy, play that game. That's what most investors are doing. They're buying all the way down, waiting for that one big win when it goes back into a bull market, an investor strategy. Just whatever you've got going for you, work on it, okay? But I would say that generally speaking, the trend is your friend because you want to get all those wins and then one loss at the end when you get stopped out. So I'd say that at the moment, guys, even though a lot of guys are saying we've gone down enough, Bitcoin can still go down another 50%. And then from there, it can go down another 50%. And then from there, it can go down 90%. So it's all relative, okay? It's all relative terms. So I would say this, guys. I'd say the magnet is probably coming into around here. Between 10-ish, sorry, not 10, between 18 and 14, okay? We'll get into 10 in a minute. That's the next level going lower. But I do see, guys, on the short term, a very, very nice trade, which could be played in between here and here. Now, as of right now, guys, I do think the market's probably going to go lower on the short-term time frames because of the long-to-short ratio. Longs are stacking up. We really want to keep an eye on what happens when Bitcoin loses this yearly low now. This is the yearly low price, which is acting as support. You can see here, guys, this yellow line now is the yearly low of 2022. So I do see the magnet is this level. I do see this happening, and I think that this level here will be another buy, actually. If we do come down to it now, I will look to buy this. So I think it's very likely we get a small bounce. There could be a short-term bounce trade here. And what we don't know yet, we could come down, guys, and actually that could be it. And we go into a bear market rally. And I do think Bitcoin is poising for a bear market rally. We have to keep an eye on the long-to-short ratio, guys, but I'll explain to you very simply. I do think between here and here, there's going to be an opportunity for some sort of significant move, guys. We haven't had the bear market rally on Bitcoin yet. A lot of other markets have done it. I'm going to strictly stick to Bitcoin here and just give you my overall ideas. I'm not going to cloud this with any other analysis, okay? But I do think, guys, between here and here, I think 14K is the Goldilocks, the golden point for me. I do think that if we break down to $14,000, I will be a significant buyer. I think there's going to be a lot of over-exacerbation and fear and a lot of emotional trading. And I do think that 14K, looking at it as a yearly, all the way back as the high of 2019, the bear market rally, and then now again, I could see a significant reaction off this, even taking us to, back into the mid zone of this range. And we already know, legends, this is where you want to be playing the trades. You don't want to do all the fanning around in here. Yes, you can go on the lower time frames and mess around with small shorts, but don't have a swing mindset in there. There is, I think, an opportunity where we could see this range low get tagged in here like that, maybe even a wick through, and then we actually do come back in to at least the mid zone on this, even maybe $28,000, guys, and then back in, and then you know what's going to happen next. Probably going to go flatline for a bit. But I could see something like this, guys, a bear market rally up to that $28,000 to $30,000 region. Now, I've said it from the beginning, guys. I said to you 14 or 28 or 28 and 14. Obviously, no one knows exactly, but look what we're getting now. 14K is coming, careering down the line, and I'm seeing an opportunity here to buy range lows, and that's where I want to get interested. That's where I want to do my business on the market. And you can see here, guys, that we're there. So this is a very interesting setup for me for that, you would say, short to medium term play. And I will look to buy in my own strategy for this, because also, you know, if you do get into a position here, you come up to 28K, you can take profit, but you can always leave some on. You know, that position, 25% of the move, 25% on, which could eventually, we don't know, be the bottom and actually run to be one of those big, big winners you get, which change your whole life. You know, that's happens to most traders. You trade for a long period of time, go flat line, lose a bit of money for a couple of years, and you get one or two really good winners, which kind of move your career to the next level. That's what happened to me, happened to a lot of people. So that's what we're looking for here. And I do think this is a good, interesting buy zone. You know, the invalidation, guys, is very simple. Get stopped out. We lose 14K. Then we're looking at the next levels down, guys, and we're looking at very, very significantly lower, 10K, 7K. On this chart specifically within the open and closes, we have 7,000. That's going from the open and close of the years before and the yearly candles. But then, guys, a lot of us would say that $10,000, in my opinion, is going to be psychological support. But I would say 10,000, 7,000 maybe. But I would say, you know, if we do come down to 10, it's a rinse and repeat. Looking to buy that zone, flip it. Again, guys, high yearly range, low yearly range, 10K is bang on in the middle, 7. The magnet would probably be $10,000 as the middle, because you could draw a very simple, you know, just going from the range high to the range low, do the mid range of it, that's coming in at around 10 as well. Okay, so a few different things of confluence there, but I won't talk about that just now because I want to stick to the longer term, 2023. And guys, I want to do one other chart as well for you. So I think Bitcoin, guys, for 2023 is not going to get above $40,000. I do not think Bitcoin will trade above $40,000 in 2023. I think it's very, very unlikely. You know, I'd actually probably go to make it more confluent with my price action, 47,000, but I still think 40K is there. I do think, though, in 2023, $30,000 will probably get tested. And I could even see it get above $30,000 for a while in 2023. I don't see us getting above 40K sustained. And I would say this is what I think as well. I think it's more likely that we spend most of 2023 in this range, between 30 and 14, than we do between 30 and 47. I think we spend a lot more time in this range than we do the higher side range. I also do think on the yearly candles that, you know, if I was going to draw this to be draw you 2023, okay, and we just opened the candle, this is what I think it could probably look like, guys. You know, we have some sort of wick down into, you know, down towards 10. I'm not going to say anything yet because we're not there yet. We're still in this range. And I do think there's a possibility of coming down there. But I think what we're going to get is a wick down into that region potentially. And 2023 will probably look something like this. Maybe a wick of 30. And look, I want to give one other example. I think this is wick to wick of 2023. I think that's what we get. I think we have a lower side range, which we dip into for a little bit. We dip into the lower side range briefly, and we dip into the higher side range briefly. But overall, we stay in the range we're already in for the majority of the time. The halving is 2024, 1st of January 2024 estimated, okay? I do think Bitcoin could be trading at around $40,000 by the end of the year, okay? At the very end of the year in December, when we have that bullish seasonality, I could see Bitcoin trading at $40,000, which will be a little bit higher than 30, not above 47. And I think, you know, the next year, to say that's 23, the next year could look like this, where we come down for another wick into the lower side range on 30, and then actually we do see Bitcoin retesting and trying the highs out, okay? So I think 23, and then that's 24, depending on, you know, there's a lot of stuff we could say depending on, but I'd say just looking at flat price action, not thinking about any macro events in the economy, big. I'm not even going to bother talking about them, like I said before. like the wars and all the things happening with crypto and all the bankruptcies and foreclosures, etc. None of that. Fuck it. Look at price. That's it. That's what I think the overall candles will look like. So let me just zip down to the monthly again, and I'll just give you a fractal or a line, which I'll draw to give you an idea. So I think generally speaking, guys, for 23, we're in this range here. I think we could get like this messing around for a while, and then, you know, this is kind of the general gist. Bear markets take longer than most people think. Bear markets are a lot longer to recover. Like, markets take longer in bear markets to recover in general because the transition from fear to greed is a slower transition than it is from greed to fear. The market goes up for years and then it goes down all in 1 year. You know, look at the S&P as a good example. You know, it went up to the COVID peak and then it dropped like 40% in one event. You know, you could even say, generally speaking, you know, every single time gold rallies, it usually drops in half the time. So Bitcoin's doing the same stuff. Takes a good few years to rally, 1 year to come all the way down, and then it takes a good few years to rally, 1 year all the way down. So I think we've got a few more years, and I think 1st of January 24, you're going to be looking for $40,000, and I think that this general bear market is going to be in between here for a significant period of time. Wick down here, wick above here, generally fanning around in here. And invalidations, guys, go as simple as this. You know, back into here, rejection, see it as resistance, the top side of the range. Then we're in the lower side of the range. It's going to probably take a little bit longer. Good opportunity for those long-term guys. And then if we do get above the 30K range and hold, we could see us fanning around in this range as well. And, you know, that's the kind of overarching thing. I just want to make one point very clear as well, which I think I forgot to mention, is the long-term narrative. I really don't think you need to complicate your long-term narrative and your long-term investing perspective, or whatever you want to say. You know, if you are an investor in Bitcoin, right now is a great time to buy. Do not bore yourself to death, killing yourself on crypto Twitter, watching all these freaking dudes doing all this on-chain analysis, all this on-chain data, and going through all these freaking charts. There's no point, guys. Just use the CBBI. It's as simple as that. Use the CBBI. It's 11 indicators in one index, which uses a whole load of good on-chain metrics. It's all you really need. It looks pretty good back tested. You don't need to. There might be a few individual things you want to look at as well, but generally speaking, you don't need to bore yourself to death with a billion things long term. Look at the CBBI. That's what I do anyway, and that's where I'm going to be taking most of my long term DCA. You know, whether I'm scaling in or scaling out, that's what I'm looking at. So I think 23 is, you know, that long general overarching bear market, overall beginning to shift from bear market to bull market. In 23. I think that's what 23 is meant for, with a bear market rally in the middle. I think a bear market rally we're going to get. I think 30K caps it, and I think 10K probably caps the downside, if not 14. I think there's a buying opportunity coming as well. You know what, guys? Comment below what you think of that video. I literally just wanted to talk to you openly, honestly, just have a chat with you about the year. You're all obviously all Legend days. Add me on Twitter, add me on all these places. I'm going to be here for 23 Legends. I'm going to be building my DEX as well. My DEX is actually probably going to be launched in January, so that's going to be great. We have MDX Algo as well. We're growing the education side of it, so the indicators and the Discord server with the VIP traders. And generally, like, that's what it's all about, guys. The bear market is there to build in, and I think most of us can take time to breathe, build, grow the strategy, get better at what you do best in terms of what you're doing in the market, and grow and then reap the rewards in the next bull market. You're all legends. I'll see you on the flippies.